Hi, this is Shannon with the 8 o'clock news and the Painted Lady Butterflies. Now, I shall bring the camera up because this stage that they are in today is very, very fragile. We had another review on these 10 caterpillars on May 27th, 2009. Now it is Friday, May 29th, 2009. And this fragile stage that these caterpillars are in is what we are going to examine right now. Okay, I am going to bring the camera up to them. Here we have jar A, the one that I call jar A. As you can see, they are hanging from the top. In jar B, same thing is going on in here. Okay. As you saw as I brought the camera up to the Painted Lady Butterflies, that they are hanging from the top. Some of them aren't quite hanging yet, but most of them are. As you can see, they have a little bit more webbing, which is really good. And the brown stuff that you do see in there is their food, and they do eat it, and that is how they survive. It is very important that at this point in time, that you do not move the jars. They will fall off of their place. And as I said before in the previous show, it is important that you do not move or shake the jar many times. That is why I brought the camera up to them. As you can see, they're hanging, which, as I said before, which means they are soon to be into their chrysalis, which is very fascinating. And once they are all hanging up there, it is very important that when we move them into this live butterfly pavilion, that they carefully do not fall, as it may kill the butterfly. Now, this point in our time, as we know, is now tip time. Tip time! Okay, and on today in Tip Time, we're just going to talk about the Painted Lady Butterflies themselves and some recently asked questions. When other people own these fascinating little creatures, some frequently asked questions that are asked a lot. Okay, question 1. My larvae aren't moving. Are they dead? My larvae as in my caterpillars. Well, probably not. But if you see no movement in 1 week, return the culture for a replacement. Now, what they meant to say was, if they don't move in 1 week, that probably does mean they have died. But as you can see, all of our caterpillars that we are owning here, we are keeping them in the dim light, not very bright, and we are speaking in a normal tone and not screaming. So they have all moved to the top. As I brought the camera up, you probably could see that, and that is a good sign that they shall go into their chrysalis and safely move it into the butterfly pavilion. Now, question 2. Do the larvae have enough air? Just explaining this, larva is another word for caterpillars. Do larvae have enough air? Yes. Please notice the small holes around the rim of the container. It is very important, even though these creatures are small, and even though there might be air in the container, when you close the container, there is no air for them. It is hard to notice, but there is little holes at the top. Now, when you have caterpillars, or if you catch them from outside to see them grow and raise them, it is important that the holes are not too big as it can escape. But you at least I have them all around the rim, because they can't just use 1 hole. They need a bunch of holes, at least 10 to 15 holes, because they do need air as people do also. Now, question 3. Can I remove the lid and play with the larva? No, removing the lid could introduce bacteria. So, as you can see, they have the webbing and the food. If you were to open the lid, as we know, our homes, our body is made of many, many germs, which can get into their jar in the webbing, and in that brown stuff, which is their food, and that's what they eat and use to survive. With bacteria and germs in there, they will die. Now, question 3. What are the little green balls I see? Now, when you look in, it's not all food at the bottom. You do see tiny little green balls. The answer to this question is it's the caterpillar's frass or waste, which means it is the caterpillar's poop or potty. Okay, now, what do I do after the chrysalises are formed? Now, what you would do, the answer to this is you would open the lid gently. Remove the lid from the cup and remove the paper disc and tape it to the inside of the wall of the butterfly pavilion habitat. As you can see, we have the lid, but there's also a paper covering underneath it. You would gently remove it, pull out the paper covering, you would unzip the top of this, and just tape it to the hold walls in here. As you can see, these walls are not just flat walls. They do have little holes in them, allowing the butterflies to breathe. Because butterflies need to breathe, and so do caterpillars, as well as humans do. Now, what do I do after the chrysalises are formed? Once again, we did say to open the lid of the cup, remove the paper disc, and tape it to the inside wall of the butterfly pavilion habitat. Okay. Now, if a chrysalis falls off the disc, what should I do? As I said before, the chrysalis may fall off the disc from moving it or something like that. The answer would be gently remove it from the cup and lay the chrysalid in the bottom of the pavilion on a napkin or paper towel. So you would not just leave it there and expect it to open. You would actually pick it up gently with a glove, a napkin, making sure that no germs or bacteria actually hurt the insect. And you would put a paper towel or a napkin under it because of the germs on the bottom. It is very important. Why are the chrysalises shaking? You may see the chrysalis shaking, yes. The answer would be this is a natural instinct to ward off predators. So if they were outside and a predator would come by, they would shake to make the predator scared and go away. Now, and the next question would be, what is the red liquid I see in the butterfly's excrete? This is called meconium, made of the leftover coloring and tissues from the wing formation. It is not blood. When they do open up, you will see a type of, it looks like goo, or it does look like blood. It is not blood, as they said before. It is the leftover coloring, because they do have colors on their on their wings, sorry. And their wing color dies off a little bit. It does not all stay there. There is still some left in the chrysalis, which comes off when the butterfly starts flapping its wings when it first hatches out of the chrysalis. It is not blood. It is some coloring, leftover, and tissue from the wing formation. Now, how long does a total butterfly life cycle take? This is a very interesting question. It approximately takes 3 weeks, which is 7 to 10 days in the larval stage, which means in this caterpillar stage, 7 to 10 days, and 7 to 10 days in the pupal stage. Ryan, what is a pupal?
A pupa is
And the pupal.
pupa. It's called a pupa.
I know, but we have the word pupal. Is that the chrysalis?
No, it means it's getting ready to turn into chrysalis.
Oh, that is very good. Thank you for that answer. Like right here, these are pupas right now? They're getting ready to go into the chrysalis?
No.
Are they getting ready to come out?
No. It's like they're ready to like go into their pupa because it has to take
they're
time.
building up their
Yeah,
chrysalis.
Yeah.
So what Ryan is trying to say is, when they're a pupa, they're building their chrysalis. Right now they're not pupas, but when you start to see some of the chrysalis form, then they are pupas. That's when they are building it. Thank you, Ryan, for that explanation.
Shannon.
Ryan, would you like another chance? Explain more. Come out and sit down in my seat and explain what a pupa is.
A pupa is actually like they are building the chrysalis inside, but the shed of their skin turns into green. That means they're building it inside. So the inside wrapper is still there. The chrysalis is inside the pupa. But as when it's ready to turn into chrysalis, the green disappears and turns into that brown form.
Okay, thank you, Ryan, for that lovely explanation. Thank you. That was very descriptive. I really liked that. Now, how long will the butterflies live? The answer to that is the normal lifespan is 2 to 4 weeks. So, right now, these caterpillars are moving very quickly. We didn't get them a long time ago. We got them on Tuesday. Is that correct, Ryan?
Maybe a few days ago. I don't really know on Tuesday.
Yes, we got it a few days ago. These caterpillars are actually moving quickly. So, it can be 2 weeks or it can be 4 weeks. But always remember, no matter if it takes 2 weeks or 4 weeks, you must let the butterflies go. If mine take 2 weeks, do not wait till 4 weeks, because they do need to get out into the open world. Even if it takes 2 weeks, do not wait till 4 weeks to let them go. Now, the next question would be, what do I do if my butterflies lay eggs that hatch? That is very interesting. What do I do if my butterflies lay eggs that hatch? The answer would be young larvae like to eat thistle, hollyhock, fiddleneck, and malva. Find some and place the leaves near the larva. That is a very interesting question. Let's read that again. What do I do if my butterflies lay eggs that hatch? The young larvae like to eat thistle, hollyhock, fiddleneck, and malva. Find some and place the leaves near the larva. Okay, that's probably what is in the jar. Ryan, would you like to explain something?
Yes.
Okay, here's Ryan.
Well, when they hatch the butterflies, you should actually keep the butterflies in this thing for 1 week. Then you can release them.
Very good, Ryan. Thank you for that piece of information. I know you mentioned to me before the show started, that when you do let a butterfly go, they do not right away leave, right? They stay in the area you let them go for at least 1 week.
I'm not trying to say that. I meant like when you...
I know, Ryan, I know. But I mentioned, that is a very interesting thing that Ryan just said. But before the show, it was very interesting to me that when you let a butterfly go, it does not go away into the wild right away. It does stay in the place 7 to 10 days. Isn't that correct, Ryan?
Yes.
Yes, and it is very important. That was a very important piece of information. Thank you, Ryan.
Welcome.
Okay. Can I order butterflies at any time of the year? Yes, if you order in winter, be prepared to keep the butterflies inside for their life cycle. So if you do have the butterflies during winter, you must be prepared to keep them for a whole season, as you must not let them go in the winter as they will die. They do need warm weather. It is spring, soon going into summer right now. It is perfect weather to let them go. You just need to make sure that it is a sunny day. It cannot be cold and rainy. You need to make sure that it is a sunny day so the butterflies can be let free and that they are safe. Now our last question would be, When should I release my butterflies? Now, this question actually answers what temperature it should be. It should release your butterflies outside only if the temperature is above 55 degrees. Only if the temperature is above 55 degrees. Because we know below 50 or 30 degrees, 50 to 30 degrees, it is freezing. It is very, very cold. So you do not want to do that. Okay, so let's go back to what we reviewed today. We said, when your larvae are moving, they are not dead. But if they're not moving for a week, they probably are. The larvae do have enough air. Just always make sure that the holes are poked, on the top of the lid or somewhere in the container. You may not move or play with the larvae, like take them out of the jar, as bacteria will get into the jar and they will die. And we said the little green balls that you see, it is the caterpillar's waste. It is their bathroom poop. When the chrysalises are formed, you would gently remove the cup and tape the paper lid in the butterfly pavilion. The chrysalises fall off the disc. We said gently put it on a paper towel or napkin on the bottom of the pavilion. And why are the chrysalises shaking? Because it would be to remove predators, not that they have predators. Their main predators in their life cycle, when they are being grown, like we are growing them here, it would be us. Because we are bigger than them, we do move them and do look at them every day, and they do get scared. Now, the red liquid I see when the butterflies excrete, it is called meconium. And we said it was the leftover coloring and tissues from the wing formation, and that it is not blood. And Ryan explained to us what the pupil was too. And it was very interesting. Thank you again for that, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Now, how long does a butterfly life cycle take? We said it would take 7 to 10 days in the larval stage and 7 to 10 days in the pupal stage, which was what Ryan talked to us about. The butterflies live 2 to 4 weeks. If your butterflies lay eggs that hatch, they do eat thistle, hollyhock, fiddleneck, and malva. And you need someplace, find some and place the leaves near the larva. You can order butterflies any time of year. Just be prepared if you order them in winter to keep them all that season, because you may not really let them go at that temperature. You should release your butterflies outside only if the temperature is above 55 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very important. As I look inside, I see little caterpillars moving, which means they are soon going to be in their chrysalises, and that is very important. Now, that was our tip time for today. Thank you. Thank you, audience, and thank you, Ryan, again for videotaping this evening's show and for actually participating in this week's show. I hope you really learned a lot in today's show, because we did expand it a little longer, and I think it was very interesting doing the questions during tip time.
I learned some things.
Yeah,
I knew most of the things.
I learned some things too. Now remember, I am Shannon Thaler. It is May 29th, 2009. With the 8 o'clock news. Thank you, goodbye, and good night.